Hello and welcome back to another episode of Spawn Trap's Hit Pause MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse podcast that recognizes the council has made a decision, but given that it's a stupid ass decision, I've elected to ignore it. I am once again joined this week by Jordan.
Hello. Thank you, Till.
Oh, you said my name for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is primarily going to be just a discussion on the second episode of Secret Invasion. What'd you think of the episode?
You know what I
By the
like?
way,
I
this
like.
is hold on before I cut you off. I'm gonna cut you off here. This is a spoiler podcast. We will be diving into spoilers on episode 2. If you haven't watched episode 2 or episode 1, go watch those now, and then you can come back and then watch this. We are live on Twitch. What we're gonna do is we're gonna be streaming these on Twitch whenever we do these, and then they will be uploaded later to YouTube. There's a few reasons why I'm doing that. It just makes things a lot easier if we upload later to YouTube. It's better quality and everything. You'll see it in your feed. More likely, we'll see it in your feed. So it's just better if we do it that way. Anyways, go ahead.
Uh, what I am happy about is that they are long. They're nice long episodes. Like they're like a
Mm-hmm.
full hour and not like 20, 30 minutes and then a ton of um extra stuff. I can hear myself. I'm just gonna
Oh,
mute.
maybe my headphones are
No,
too loud.
it's me. Hang on. I am just going to
Okay, well you deal with
mute.
that.
There we go.
I didn't feel like this episode was that long. I felt like it flew by. I
Really?
don't
I
know
liked all
why.
the I felt like there's a lot of action. And there's a lot of like little like stuff. I liked it. I liked the first one a lot, but I really got into this one too. So I really enjoyed it. What I need to do now is I need like a pen and paper, and I need to write everything out because there's so
Good
many
idea.
people. There's so many people, and at every moment I'm like, that's a scroll. Wait, no, he's not a scroll. I'm like, that's a scroll. So I need to write things
Yeah,
down when I think someone's a scroll and when I don't think they're a scroll. So like, cause
that's a
like
good
there's
idea. Yeah,
multiple times this episode I thought Rhodey, War Machine
I think
was
he
the
could be.
scroll.
Yeah,
So many times I thought he was. So I just kept. I was like, I think he's a scroll here, and I was like, no, but at this scene I don't think he is. And I'm like, someone's
yeah.
pretending to
I
be
know
him.
what. I think I know what
Ah,
scene that you're talking about when he's
yeah.
in the
In
when
the
they're in the
cafe.
diner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, One thing I want to bring up about Rhodey, which I guess we should have mentioned back in um the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Rhodey's walking around. He's
Yeah.
he doesn't have his braces anymore. He seems to have healed from his injury.
Really? I didn't actually put that together. I was wondering if maybe they had the brace under his suit, but I'm pretty sure they're like pretty big
They're
braces, so
big,
they should.
big, yeah. Maybe
Yeah,
they
they should
changed
be
them, but
over. They should be over. So
yeah,
unless we see him like take off his pants later, and he's got like all like
yeah.
mechanical stuff going down his legs, or I don't know, with nanotechnology, I don't know. But yeah, they better explain that because I was like, I think I was saying the same thing to Jess. I was like, is he? It's like, shouldn't he be walking with a limp, or does the scroll not know, or are we just is Rhodey just better? I'm like, what's happening? I was like, me and
Or
Jess like were
maybe
like
he
did not know.
was replaced by a scroll after Endgame, and then
Uh,
this the Rhodey we've been seeing since Phase 4 has been a scroll this entire time.
yeah, the scroll's like, damn it, I lost my legs pretending to be War Machine.
um, yeah. I thought this episode was great. I thought it had some really tense scenes too, which I thought was great. The de-aging on Nick Fury in the opening scene
Yeah,
still
yeah,
looks creepy. But really good.
I like his hair.
In
I
the
like his.
flashback.
Yeah, I like when it's all just like nice and like evenly cut black hair. It looks so funny, and he has his eyes normal. Yeah, he looks. It's so much different than him now with his whole beard, and it's
Hmm.
just so grisly look now.
Yeah, it looks a lot different now.
Yeah,
So we start off by showing when Nick met um Gravik,
yeah, yeah.
and sort of how he's promised to find them a home and he didn't keep his promise. He said, as long as you keep your promise, I'll keep mine. So
Which just a weird thing that I thought, just from like camera angle wise, was that Gravik was all like sad and like hunched over,
yeah.
and then Nick Fury and that woman stepped aside and they went into the background and they were talking. but it was like, why'd you guys like go 2 feet away and then you're talking so that we can still hear you next to Gravik? I was like, I
I
felt like I was just
I
Gravik being
don't
like,
think you.
yeah, you're. I was like, this kid's gonna grow up to be a serial killer. And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, I know he's gonna grow up to be a serial killer. I'm like, why are you saying that in front of the kid? I was like, how it should have been was like they should have walked towards us with the camera,
Shows
and
the
Gravik
camera,
should have
yeah.
been in the background so that we could hear him talking. Because I was like, now I'm just sitting next to Gravik, and I can hear you guys are just talking shit about him. So I was like, I don't know. I thought it was a weird the way they made the camera angle look. Because I was
Yeah.
like looking at my girlfriend, like they're just talking shit about him, and we can totally hear this. I thought it was so
I don't
weird.
think you know this, Jordan, but Skrulls have very terrible hearing.
Did they actually?
No.
Oh, I was like, I don't know. You can make up anything. I don't read comics, so that's funny.
One thing I was wondering recently, what's going on with the Kree? Like, we haven't really heard anything. So the whole purpose why the Skrulls are on Earth to begin with is because they're having they're in a war with the Kree.
Yeah.
And then like they're trying to like they had to flee their planet, and then he did Talos did mention Emperor Grog. I can't remember the guy's name. So
Yeah.
there's some scrolls that are like have some allegiance to this emperor that are not on Earth, but otherwise the big bombshell here is that there's a million scrolls on Earth that were scattered across the galaxy, I guess, and then Talos brought them to Earth. Um, are the Kree still looking for scrolls to like eradicate them? Because I know that um, Ronin. Which is also weird. We have two like major Ronin characters in the
Right.
MCU. But Ronin, the accuser, was hunting them down because he had like some vendetta against Skrulls. It's like any
Yeah.
planet they're on, we're gonna kill the planet.
Yeah, we
Um,
saw that in the end of
Cap,
Captain Marvel.
yeah, Cap Marvel,
She
yeah,
drove him away.
yeah. Well, he did say we'll be back, but then he
Yeah.
died in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
um, and we
The
know
dance
that,
off state of the universe.
yeah. Um, Also, the other thing we know about the Kree is that they signed the treaty with uh Xandar.
Right.
And Thanos decimated Xandar is what Thor said in
Yeah.
Infinity War. And they already lost a bunch of their Nova Corps in the battle against Ronin.
Mhm.
So does that treaty still stand? Because I feel like Xandar can't really defend itself that really well against the Kree if they wanted to like attack Xandar.
I don't know. So like from my understanding, I think Xandar was complete like just I thought the whole planet was gone. And I thought Skrull's planet was like just like I thought it was like the destruction of their planet because they said they had to flee it. I wonder if
Yeah.
some stayed behind, but I wonder if it's just not safe anymore
I would
or
imagine
if it's
anybody who
destroyed.
stayed behind is probably killed.
Yeah, that's why I
They
just
took it
assume
over.
that they're just trying to find a planet that's uninhabitable, like not I don't know, not already inhabited, and then
Right.
that they can just have is what my understanding of them trying to find a new home planet was because like Earth's obviously, or at least a planet that's not as populated as Earth, which now is crazy because like you have like a million people on Earth. I guess that kind of ties in with why the Celestials was probably like feeding off our Earth faster too because that's like so many more bodies that were making
Oh,
the
that's a
planet
good point from from the Eternals.
from the Eternals. Yeah, because I was like, that's a crap load of extra bodies to start making the planet inhabitable. So
That is a great point. I didn't think about that. Um yeah, so I'm wondering when he called the a million scrolls to Earth because he said you were gone. What was I supposed to do? Is he referring to Nick Fury being blipped or when he went up to Saber?
I think he means we went up to Saber. So I'm trying to piece it together while I'm watching it because
Yeah.
I don't know like if it was a scroll that was here the
I
whole time or if he was
I could
gone. So
swear he said you were gone and then you were briefly back and then you left or something.
yeah, that's why I thought when he was gone, I thought they meant the 5 years after he got
Yeah.
like let's just say that Nick Fury is the one that called Danvers. That's actually him. He was blipped for 5 years, and then he went to when they came back, he left. I assume that he left around the same time Spider-Man Far From Home. So that was about what 2018 that came out. So it's
Yeah.
been like about another 5 years since that. So he's been gone about 10 years now.
He
Is
says,
what
"What
I
happens when the host disappears?" So I'm reading it here. Because you were gone, you didn't think you were coming back. I really didn't. And that even when you did come back, there was no talking to you about anything real. Your boots barely hit Earth. Just
yeah.
from that, it sounds like he made the decision during the blip to make the
Mm,
call.
yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
Thanos snapped, Nick Fury disappeared, and he's like, he's gone. What the hell do I do? He says they're being hunted, so it sounds like they were still being hunted during the
Yeah.
blip. So he made the call to have 1,000,000 Skrulls. Now, granted, there's probably half the Skrulls disappeared during the blip. So if that was the case,
Right.
then there's probably another 1,000,000 Skrulls out there in the
Yeah.
galaxy. Um, but it sounds like from reading the closed captions, um, that he called everybody during the blip. Then Nick Fury briefly came back during Tony Stark's funeral, barely talked to Talos, and then went up to Saber. Has been
Yeah.
up there for this entire time.
Yeah, the thought that I had was just he made the call while Fury was blipped, and then after the blip, Fury was different and went back into space,
Yeah,
just to deal with his own stuff, and then so that was 5 years since we saw Far From Home. So if he's just coming back now, that's a period of 10 years that he's been gone.
yeah,
Which also, now that I just thought about that, if you had Skrulls on a ship, right, and they got snapped away, so that's like whatever. Let's say it's not. We don't need a
hmm
million, but we have half a ship of Skrulls blipped away, and we land that ship on Earth, and all the Skrulls get off, and they get whatever. Do you get blipped back on the ship,
yeah.
or do you get back
The
to the
Russo
exact spot you
brothers,
were, or like back in space,
the Russo
or the ship
brothers have
was out?
answered this because
Yeah,
this was a common question that they were getting.
yeah,
I guess the Hulk took into account people who might be in danger, who were blipped in like a specific setting. So anybody who was blipped, they came back safely.
okay,
So however that means. So either those
so,
scrolls were like maybe they moved to a planet or something. I don't know.
right, right. That's interesting. At least you either got back to your normal spot because we see people like how in Far From Home there was people in the gym, then they
Yeah.
got blipped out of the gym, then there were new people in the gym, and then they all collided.
Yeah.
So we saw that. So there's things like that where it's not immediate threat, and then there's like danger where like if you were in traffic, you're not being blipped right back into traffic
Yeah,
and being hit by a
exactly.
car. That would suck. You come back and
The
just smoked by like a train or something like immediately.
the one that people were asking them, I guess, like people in planes. Like you get blipped while you're in a plane, and then when you get come back, do you just fall from the sky? And they're
Oh
like,
my
no, no,
god.
no, no. You would blip safely.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then Nick Fury talks to Maria Hill's mother. Um, and then there's a news kind of um like showcase or whatever on the bombing that happened in Russia,
Right.
and the actor who played Shooter McGavin in Happy
Yeah.
Gilmore
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
an appearance here. He's a scroll. And they put him on. It looks like it's like a parody of Tucker Carlson in the show from Fox News, formerly of Fox News. Um, so that was kind of funny to see.
I was curious. Uh oh, I lost my thought.
Oh, I'm
Let me.
sorry.
You're good. Go continue, and I'll. It's like that's in my tongue. I'll remember it.
Okay.
Um,
I wasn't really going anywhere. Just recapping the
oh, I
episode.
remember. So we're good. I didn't know if Maria Hill's mom took it a good way or a bad way. Like she seemed like kind of a dick, but
To
she
what Nick
also,
Fury said?
yeah, like she kind of seemed all mean. She's like, "You're Nick Fury. You're supposed to protect her." I'm like, yo, like you know what she's like saved the world like how many times too, or helped Cap with stuff. Like
Sure.
she's like it's
I
her job.
I
Like she's
took
in a
it that
bad.
she took it the wrong way.
Yeah, that's how I thought I
Yeah.
did too. Like, I understand you're upset, but Nick Fury is still like her best friend. They've worked together. They've saved each other countless times through alien attacks and super soldier stuff. I'm like, I think your daughter dying like is still pretty like she died at least still in a pretty like big way. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's like I'm sorry I couldn't save your daughter. She's probably saved my life 100 times. I've probably saved her life hundreds of times. Like I don't know. I thought the mom was kind of a dick. I was like,
She
it's not like
was his right hand
yeah.
person. Like she was always there, at least from the Avengers, from what we saw.
She was all like, "You're Nick Fury. This
Yeah.
isn't supposed to happen. You're supposed to take care of her." I'm like, "Bro, I'm not the Hulk. Okay, we're just two humans." Like
I also
shit
find
wasn't
it, yeah, it's
wasn't
weird
gonna.
because she called Fury, and Fury came down to stop this Russian attack, and now everybody's blaming Fury for everything that happened, and like
Yeah.
not even giving him a chance to talk. Like you
This.
abandoned your post at Saber, like he'd be
It's,
like, I was called.
yeah. I always
Um,
find it such a cop out too when people are like, "It's Nick Fury. Nick, what was he doing there? Why was the
mhm,
explosion his fault?" I'm like, "How many times does he save the world? Do you really think he just wanted to blow up a building?" I'm like,
yeah,
"God, I'm like, you should just be fired. Like, whoever said that, just go sit down. Like,
yeah. They
you're
gotta
out."
think like
Like,
he was up in Saber doing his job. He
yeah,
was just nothing's changed. Then all of a sudden he came back to Earth and blew up Russia. Like
yeah.
that doesn't make sense.
No. They're
Um,
like, what was he doing there in the first place? He shouldn't have been there. I'm like, well, he didn't sign a contract that said he had to stay in space for fucking forever.
maybe
So
he did.
he said well, he said the same thing. He's like, I was just visiting Russia because I'm a
Yeah,
fucking allowed to. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. He did save,
but
I don't know,
yeah,
a whole city with a freaking flying ship. So I mean,
he didn't. Somebody at Saber. There's other
that's
people
crazy.
and scrolls on Saber. So somebody knows something, right? And they couldn't talk to anybody, but he didn't report this to Rhodey or the president. I don't even know if he needs to because he was talking about rank in this episode. I don't even know
Yeah.
if he needed to do that, but he didn't. It seems like he didn't discuss it with anyone to the point where it reached the president. Um, and but there's a whole bunch of other people on Saber, so like somebody could have said something. It just seems a little bit flimsy about
Yeah.
why
That's
everybody's after him.
That's what I said too. I was like,
Yeah.
this is not concrete evidence. I was like, man,
Yeah.
it's like, I was like, this is just falling through your fingers, guys. I'm like, you guys really think Nick Fury's behind this? Like, there's something bigger going on. That seems so BS. So it must be just scrolls who are like, no, it's Nick Fury's fault. Like, I'm like, okay, they're on the news and shit too. Like, it's everyone who just points their finger at Nick Fury. I'm like, you're a scroll. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're a bad scroll. You're not a good scroll. You're a bad scroll. I'm like, you're obviously just you're on the wrong side. So
Um, we also got that there's like some sort of like scroll council where it's revealed that they took over key points of power in the world. There's the
mhm.
one person from the UN. I think there's like some prime ministers and stuff like that in this table. So they're pretty much now doing the bidding of Gravik,
Yeah.
who's gonna make some sort of play to, I guess, take over the world. I don't know.
It didn't suit Rhodey too either, when he was just like, you're out, Fury. You can't handle this. You're blah blah whatever." I'm
Yeah.
like, bro's been in the game longer than you have, and like, I don't know, he's been
Well,
fighting aliens and
yeah.
stuff. I'm like, you're newer to that,
In
so like,
in
it's
his mind, the way he said it is somebody he used to admire, but it seems
yeah,
like over the years, like he's just out of his game,
yeah,
and you can kind of see like we're seeing like whenever Fury has a moment of solitude or reflection, he's just um he's just like depressed or like he has like some sort of anxiety attack or something.
yeah,
So it does seem like a weaker Fury who doesn't have his shit together.
yeah. But they should come at that more of like a, I don't know, in a well-being as a friend way, instead of you're out, you're not the kingpin anymore, you suck, go sit down, old man. Like, I'm like, why is everybody a dick to
Yeah.
Fury? I'm like, how many fucking invasions and shit has he helped save and whatever? I'm like, he's not Iron Man, but I mean,
Well, see,
still doing his
at,
job.
at some point, is he gonna call somebody a superhero or Avenger wise?
I
Because
don't know.
he doesn't really have too many people left to talk
Yeah,
to.
there's just the only thing I hate about a television show when
Mm-hmm.
it's like because it's by contracts and stuff. I still think for Maria Hill's like funeral, we should have, even if they couldn't get the actual actors, I still think like a faraway silhouette of like Sam being there, Winter Soldier, and like Cap, let's say even Captain America himself,
Mm-hmm.
well, old Steve Rogers,
Steve
Captain
Rogers, yeah.
America, see him in like a wheelchair, and like you see that like far in the
Well,
distance, like Nick Fury goes and talks to them or something, or like something
yeah,
like that. Like I wanted like it to be acknowledged. I'm like, she did Maria Hill, if you remember, she saved all three of them in Winter. Well, not Bucky, but she saved Sam and Steve a lot in Winter Soldier. So
yes.
like she kind of
Um,
should have
but
been
I
there.
think the world thinks that Captain America is dead in the MCU.
Hmm.
I think that was kind of established in Spider-Man: Far From Home and in Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Oh,
except for the few people who thought he was living on the moon.
so they think he died in the end game fight,
Yeah,
but he just lived his life out and
yeah. So I think he just
okay,
said, like maybe tell people I'm dead or something.
yeah. Hmm.
Um,
Still, I still think like Nick Fury knows, like that group knows. At least Sam, like they should have showed up for Maria
yeah,
Hill's
yeah. But there's
funeral.
also other people there, so I don't know
Yeah.
like how you would hide that if the world thinks he's dead.
I just feel like to connect everything together, it would have
Yeah,
been a nice thing to have like, but at least winners. I don't know, even if they do it later in the show in the series, which they probably won't. But it'd be
yeah.
cool to see like Fury talk with that group and be like, "Could have used you guys. You guys missed Maria Hill's funeral," and they're like, "Sorry, we were doing something else." I don't know, just whatever. It would have been cool.
uh, the other big kind of reveal, and I don't know about your thoughts on this or anything. Maybe I should ask you first. There was that science thing. So they had like this the scrolls in their base camp have this
Yeah,
lab where they're doing something and then you saw something glow and then you saw Gaia look at a computer with
yeah.
some information on there. I would like to know your thoughts on this because I have my theories, and I think it's based on like what we've seen from trailers, what we've discussed before, and what we see from the comics.
Yeah.
But I don't know your thoughts on that.
I can't remember my exact thoughts on it. I know I was chatting with my girlfriend about it. I think we're trying to go with more of the like the radioactive thing. Like they're trying to like I still kind of think they're terraforming the planet a little bit. Like they want to make it all radioactive so that they can just live in it and humans will cease to exist. So it doesn't need to be like we're gonna launch all the nukes. Like we're gonna create something that like immediately makes the whole planet like radioactive and
So you
then
think that's what that lab was? To make
yeah,
the
I think
planet
so.
radioactive?
I gotta watch it again. But I think me and
Okay.
Jess were going like we're going in that form, even if it's like small bombs that makes individual like major, maybe they'll just target major cities. So instead of like the actual destruction of like a nuke where it like blows
Yeah.
up buildings and kills people, they just make areas instantly radioactive and then they could just take over city by city doing
Okay.
something like
Um,
that.
you you could be right. I that could be the plan to make things radioactive. But in terms of this lab, if you're
Yeah.
rewatching the episode, you pay attention to what people are saying and then what's on screen as
Oh.
well. Um,
Yeah.
it's to me, it's very clear they're going in specific direction. Um, Gravik was asked, um, what happens if they call the Avengers?
Hmm.
Which, first of all, we've discussed several times. There are no Avengers right now. So who's going to be called?
Yeah.
Um, but secondly, he says I
The
have
defenders.
defend the defenders are uh first of all, people are arguing if they're even canon right now, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Um uh the second thing is he says he's planned for that.
Right.
So the next thing is Gaia looking at that computer. There
Yeah.
was four things that were shown on that computer. So I don't know if you read it or caught it at all.
I don't. I think I
Okay.
remember them saying something. Are they trying to make super soldier Skrulls though?
So that's where I'm going with this. Yeah. So
Okay.
the first thing was, I don't remember the order of it. The first thing was Groot. Actually, it did say Groot on there, and we did see Gravik with a Groot arm in the trailer.
It's weird because it shouldn't say Groot. It should say Floral Colossus. Would make more sense.
I think that's all that anybody on Earth knows is about
Just for
Groot
one.
is that his
Yeah.
name is Groot and he's a tree.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
But it did say Groot on there. The
Okay.
next thing said Frost Beast, I think. Now I don't know if you remember much about Thor: The Dark World, our
Oh
favorite
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
The end credit scene. Do you remember what that was? So there's the Frost
No.
Beast that Thor came back to Earth. He kissed with Jane, who was actually played by his wife. They didn't show her face because
Right.
she was a stand-in. But they were kissing, and then in the background there was a Frost Beast that was like chasing some birds because he was left there from when the portals were
What's the
around.
Frostbeat? Is that from Jotunheim?
Yeah, Jotunheim. There's
Or that what?
the big guy. You know the big beast. Like Thor went through one
Throws,
of their
he
heads.
throws. Yeah, he flies right through his
Yeah,
mouth. I remember the creature. Yeah, yeah. I
yeah, yeah.
remember that scene. That's
So
from the first Thor.
yeah, so one of those was
Yeah.
left behind in the battle against Malekith.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was still on Earth.
Oh, dang.
So Groot also came to Earth, battled Thanos, or and his army and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, there was
But
also
like picking up branches, and they're just
they're
like, yeah,
picking up. The next thing was the next thing was Call Obsidian, which is one of Thanos's children,
yeah,
the
his
big
arm.
guy. Yeah, his arm was cut off by Wong in New
Hmm.
York. And then the last thing was Extremis, the bad guys from Iron Man 3 that can like rejuvenate
Right.
and explode.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so they're kind of gathering enhanced kind of like aliens or enhanced abilities from Earth
Yeah.
and experimenting with them on the lab. So this does to me sound like it's a Super-Skrull situation,
Right.
which we've mentioned on podcast before. Super-Skrulls are basically scrolls that have been experimented on to give them powers that mimic other heroes on Earth.
Yeah.
Most
Relax, you guys.
notably,
These guys are
Fantastic
like
Four.
witches.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like,
Uh, most notably is like Fantastic Four. Is where you see Super-Skrulls. That's why Marvel didn't have the rights to use this character until recently when they purchased Fox or the Fox properties. So they don't have Fantastic Four set up in this universe yet, but all this makes sense. They're picking up just remains of stuff on Earth and
yeah.
experimenting on those as kind of like a replacement.
Little vultures.
It does feel kind of Fantastic Four esque though, because you got Groot. He's kind of stretchy, like he extends his arm.
Mm-hmm.
You got Call Obsidian. It's kind of like a thicker, more like rock like kind of creature.
Right.
Um,
Obsidian's a type of rock.
yeah. You got um the Extremis, which is kind of like the Human
Brownie
Torch.
storm. Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing that stands out though is the Frost Beast does not go invisible, as far as we know. So I feel like that's the one exception. But pretty much they have the Fantastic Four abilities there. So I think we might be seeing some Fantastic Four like Skrulls that Nick Fury is gonna have to be fighting.
Interesting. Yeah. No, that I do remember. I do remember they were going for the super soldier type thing, but I need to rewatch that scene. Do you remember? Oh man. So that was just on a board that
It's
they
on a
had.
computer. It was like a really
Computer.
old computer.
All
Like the
right. I'll have to.
screen was green.
You didn't see any of that, like any vials of that stuff, though, right? You just saw the.
No, they showed a picture and the name of each of the things. So there was four things on the screen.
Okay.
It was Groot, the Frost Beast, Extremis, and Call Obsidian.
I'll be rewatching that. I don't remember I don't remember. I haven't watched Dark World in so long. But did a frost beast actually get to Earth, like
Yeah,
from the
because
portal? I
there's the
don't remember.
convergence. So like there was things from different realms that were
Gotcha.
crossing over, and Jotunheim was one of them, and the Frost Beast crossed over through one of the portals.
Mm. Man, Marvel, man, just like picking picking things anywhere they can throughout the time to make something out of it, and so that everything connects. It's crazy.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to grab a lot of stuff that's loose ends um from like early phases. Like we're
Yeah,
seeing the leader return back in Thunderbolts and no wait, not Thunderbolts. Captain America. So the next Captain America movie. Um Mr. Blue, I should say. We only know him as Mr. Blue right now.
yeah.
Um so yeah, they're picking up some stuff, some leftover stuff from that we didn't get closure on in the previous phases.
Yeah, and I like it. I like it, but I don't want it to be too uh, like that they're like just grasping at straws though either. Like I don't want it to like become like I'm like really? Did you guys really need to close that end?
Like the frost beast is grasping at straws.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of,
kind of.
like, kind of. But also, I mean, and the thing I didn't like about Iron Man 3, The Extremis, was that like it was still ongoing, like it was still out in the world because we saw it in Shang-Chi, or like at least what we
Yes.
assumed was.
Hmm.
But I was like, didn't Iron Man like destroy all of it? And then he was all like, then he was like, oh yeah, and I fixed it and no problem. I figured out how to say how to
No,
whatever.
they gave it to the thing was they gave it to people who it's mostly like amputees and stuff like that. But they gave it to
Yeah,
people willing to undergo the experiments to make some money, That's a big thing.
right.
That's how they fund it. And then anybody whose body was not compatible with it,
Yeah,
they would explode. And rather than, try to figure out what's causing people to explode, they're like, let's make up a story about a terrorist and let's like cover up the bombings as like, oh, this terrorist is
yeah. I
bombing
remember that.
stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So that was a
Yeah.
whole cover up. So yeah, there's people all over the place, I guess, with extremis
Just
that
so
can
they're
handle it.
compatible with it, but they so they can just regrow their limbs and they're
Yeah.
just good to go.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll call those people. They'll fight this.
Well,
But
they're not superheroes. They're just like regular people.
well, yeah, I know, but they now they can just regrow their limbs.
Oh,
Let them
by
get.
the way, the previous so the previous President Ellis, his vice president in that movie, his daughter was she was missing a leg. Um
I remember that.
that
Yeah,
that actor was uh what's her name from Wednesday? The girl from Wednesday.
like Wednesday herself.
Yeah, that was her
Uh,
in that wheelchair.
can't remember. I can't
I can't
remember her
remember
name.
her
Wow,
name yet.
she was so
she was,
little.
she was
That
really young, yeah.
Jesus.
And a lot of people are
She's like over 20 now, and every time I see her, like,
mm,
cause she's like the new like hot thing in Hollywood
yeah.
now, and I'm like, guys, she looks 12 or 14, and it's so to me, I just find it very creepy.
But oh, okay. I'm not gonna push that any further. Uh, a lot of people are fan casting her in a Marvel role for White Tiger, I believe the character's name is.
Mhm.
Um, so it'd be interesting if she came back to the MCU as a different character now.
I like the actress. Like
Mhm.
I watched her in You. She did an amazing job as Wednesday. I just
Yeah,
don't like when somebody becomes too popular too quick and then they just in everything. And I'm like, do you really need to be in every single thing?
yeah.
Becomes too much.
I don't
It's
know.
just a lot.
Um, yeah, and then we had that there's that restaurant scene which I thought was fantastic. Wasn't any action or anything. It's just the dialogue between Rhodey and Nick Fury
Yeah, it
was
was cool to
cool.
see their torture methods too. Are you
Uh,
talking about the when she's torturing him in the restaurant?
no, oh no, sorry. I meant like when Rhodey and Nick Fury was having that meeting. But that
Oh, okay.
is that is a great point. That restaurant, that was a really cool scene too. But yeah, we do see how I can't remember this character's name, but she hates Skrulls. I mean, that was established in the first episode, but she's going to like any lengths possible to hunt down and kill these Skrulls.
Yeah, she was like, she gave me actually me and Jess both said it. She gave me oh, what is the character I hate so much in Harry Potter?
Umbridge?
Umbridge. She gave
So
me Umbridge.
everybody hates her.
Yeah, she gave me Umbridge vibes, and I
Yeah.
hated it. But I was like, you're in psycho, you're insane.
Yeah.
I was like, she just injects this person. She's like, oh, I hope you feel better, but you're probably not going to. And then she's like, this guy's like every vein in his body is just like exploding his head. That was crazy. That did not look fun at all. That was a
No.
wild form of torture.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's right. We already saw it. Gravik ends up executing him anyways. So
Yeah, which I thought was weird because when you kill a Skrull, they go back to their Skrull form, right? And they want to
yeah,
try to hide. They're trying to hide right now.
yeah,
Um, so they took him back with kill him, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna bury him in the woods. They didn't bury him. They just left him there.
yeah.
So now there's a dead Skrull body in the woods.
Gotta
Or
call
anybody?
That John Wick cleanup crew where you toss them a coin and they come
Yeah.
in and do it all. Yeah,
Um,
that's crazy.
and that crazy scene of Dead by Daylight in the kitchen. They hook the
Yeah.
person on the hooks.
Yes. Yeah. That was that was wild. But even they you kind of see a little bit of Gravik's like combat too. Like
Yeah,
he looks pretty like just the way he came in and he just like
they're
started like
super
just
strong. Yeah,
yeah. So you kind of see a little bit. We starting to like kind of see this villain. So, but we were right though, because remember we were both like, "Who the hell is this Gravik guy? We don't
yeah.
know anything about him." And you said it was something off screen, so we only kind of just saw it in the second episode. So they kind of, if you were confused in the first one, like we were, this one kind of at least shows a little bit. Or
Yeah,
like,
more
oh
of a
yeah, okay,
backstory.
yeah.
I
So
will see.
I'm hoping to see more of that.
I'm on the scene right now with the computer, and it does say Groot, species Flora colossus. Um,
Hmm.
and it says humanoid plant, Planet X. Um, which did they mention Planet X in Guardians of the Galaxy?
I think if they mentioned it, I think they mentioned it when they're doing the lineup in Guardians 1 when they're like when they're like when they're like Rocket has been going around with a humanoid plant from the planet X
Yeah.
and then as his house plant or house pet slash muscle, something like that. I think that's the only time when they mention Planet X, if they do in that scene, if I had to guess.
There's also a word here. I can't read this word. But it says acid based for Groot, and then acid based for Frost Beast. Acid based for the Call Obsidian. Yeah, for all of them actually. I don't know what that means. Acid based.
I don't know either.
And then extremis planet Terra slash C53 Earth.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, Homo sapiens slash primate is what the class is.
For what?
For extremis, so it's just a
Oh,
human, right?
yeah.
Um, yeah. So I think we're seeing Super-Skrulls. We probably might see them in the next episode because it sounds like they're making some sort of breakthrough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else happen in this episode? Oh yeah, there's the big reveal at the end.
Yes, I was just gonna say. I was like, I wanted to say that for the end of our episode, of when we
But
were fully
yeah,
done.
I don't think there's much else to bring up
Yeah,
in this episode. So yeah, we can go with that. Go for it.
yeah. I'll let you go. I'll let you do bringing it.
Yeah, we see Fury walk up to this house. First, we see somebody chopping cucumbers in a and
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, and green scroll skin,
Yeah,
and then he walks through the door.
yeah,
And then it's a regular person. It's not a scroll, so she's hiding. Nick Fury walks through, and then she's like, got something. Walks back, takes a wedding ring, puts it on, and then they kiss.
yeah,
So Nick Fury's married to a scroll. Looks like.
yeah. And then me and Jess were like, we were both like, oh damn, Nick Fury marrying a Skrull. That's pretty sweet. But then I was thinking about it more. And I was like, I wonder if it's just a cover. Like I
Mhm.
think like because like Nick Fury's always got like 100 like tricks and stuff. I was like, it could be a cover, but I think it was. I like to think that it's real. So I guess we'll find out more
It
going
could.
forward.
I would say it's real.
I would.
If you recall, Captain America, he says his wife kicked him out when he got attacked by Hydra, and
Right.
then Captain America's like, I didn't know you were married, and he's like, who else knows about your wife? He's like, just my friends.
Yeah, just my
Yeah.
friends.
Um. Now that could be just unrelated because the wife in that situation was Hydra.
Yeah,
He was referring to Hydra in that case.
yeah.
But there could be some parallels there. He might have just been using that as an example. Um, Now, Nick Fury does have some relationships in the comics. They're not like this. Um, so this is kind of a unique situation for the MCU. It seems like, and I think some other people online agree that the scroll is the same one from the beginning of the episode when they were doing the flashback, who brought Gravik
Oh
to
wow.
him.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
I it's hard to tell. They honestly all like they all look like the same CGI to me. So that's all. I don't know. I can't tell
or
at all.
makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like there's like
I
small
think
differences, but
I think maybe the actors credited,
okay.
but I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah. Interesting though. Yeah, that's I think Jess said that to me. She's like, I wonder if that's the same one from the beginning. I was like, I have no idea. So
I
this is my first
I
time.
think it is. I'm sure we'll get some more answers in the next
Yeah.
episode. I don't know. Where do you think the show's going from here?
I
I'm
don't
wondering
know.
how it ends, like how it's gonna affect the rest of the MCU.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's just going to be more of kind of like the line of um Captain America maybe like I'm hoping it all comes to an end. Like I can't have there's so many movies and so many phases to keep up with and different characters and they all branch stuff. Like I'm still so invested with Shang-Chi's uh rings that I want to know where that story's going
Yeah,
with and like
yeah.
Loki's is so interesting with
The
the
multiverse.
yeah, the multiverse stuff. I'm like there's so many things I'm trying to like whatever. I'm like I need some branches clipped because I'm like I forget what happened to that show. So
Um,
I hope this one ends all like nice, like with a nice
what do
bow
we
and
have
everything.
coming up? Because I don't think we're really going to be getting close to that. Because what we have coming up is um there's going to be What If. I doubt What If is going to have any sort of significance in the MCU. Um, and then there's Captain America, which I think is Captain America is going to be more of a grounded story. It's going to be all Earth stuff. I don't think we're going to be getting any rings situations in that.
I
Uh,
would like that just to have some because like we've been in space or different realms or whatever,
yeah,
different planets for so long that I'd like to just have another like, watch Falcon fly around and just hit people with a shield for a while.
yeah.
Sorry, Captain America fly around with a shield. That'd
There
be
will be
sweet.
a Falcon though.
Yeah, yeah. Is it the guy that collected his old wings? It's
Yeah,
gonna be that guy, right?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there
Um,
we go. That's still cool to me.
we got Thunderbolts, which I also think I don't know. Maybe Thunderbolts. There might be something that will give us answers to that. But it sounds I don't, and I might be wrong. It feels like Black Panther set up Thunderbolts to be like going to war with Wakanda. But maybe I'm just reading that completely wrong. But that's what I got from watching Black Panther.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think we have any like. I haven't watched Guardians of the Galaxy. You've watched Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah,
All
I
the way
have.
through.
Yeah, yeah. I think, and then hopefully, in like maybe like a week or two, it should be on. We
Yeah,
should be
I
able to
think
get
so.
it.
Yeah,
So we should watch that together, and then we can do
yeah.
a episode of this. And
Was I don't know if this is like major spoilers or anything, so sorry for podcast listeners. But was there anything in that regards to in Guardians of the Galaxy,
in regards to what? Sorry.
like setting up future stuff like the rings or something like that, or the
I'm trying to
multiverse?
remember. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the end credits were.
I feel like
I'm not gonna
James
say. I'm
Gunn.
just trying to remember.
I feel like James
Yeah.
Gunn tries to avoid all that stuff. He doesn't want to include it in his movies.
He ended it like it's a good three, like it's a good trilogy. It doesn't need to be continued. I'm trying to remember what the end cutscenes were though. No, no, not that I recall. I remember one cutscene. I think there
Okay,
was three though.
three. Okay.
There may have been three cutscenes. I
Well,
think one
in
was just like a
two there was
gimmick.
like 50.
Yeah. I don't think anything had to do with the rings. There was something No, I can't say it because I don't want to spoil it for you.
Okay.
But yeah, there was and we'll obviously anybody listening doesn't want to listen to Guardians of the Galaxy spoilers right now, so we'll do it when we watch it together because
Yeah.
I've only seen it once in theaters anyway, so I can't even. I don't want to say anything that's false. So
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Other than the Avengers movies that are on the way, I don't know what we have coming up that would delve into that. So I think you're gonna be left in the dark for a while,
yeah,
unfortunately.
on the
Oh,
on the rings.
yeah, on the rings. Actually, there's one thing. There's Loki. Loki will likely bring all this stuff up
Yeah, I hope
whenever.
so. That's do we know when that show is supposed to come out?
Yeah, it's in October, I think it was. I think they
Okay.
said October.
Yeah, when did we get? That was at the end of Quantum Mania that we got a Loki will return too for that. Remember the
Yeah,
ending credits? Ending
yeah. So
credits
we got
scene.
a little bit of like teasing stuff in Multiverse of Madness. I will give you just a update. Oh, the Marvels. We'll probably see something in the
Mm.
Marvels. That's what we have coming up. Um, Also possibly Deadpool 3. A lot of people are making assumptions that Deadpool 3 has to do with the multiverse, which
Oh yeah,
I think it does, but I think they're like putting too much weight into it having some huge significance in the whole multiverse saga. Um,
yeah. I think it's just gonna do with more time travel. Well, I guess I don't know. I think his bracelet was mostly just time travels, wasn't it?
if they're continuing in any sort of continuity, it sounds like they are because they're a lot of the same actors, but I
You
have
know
no
what?
idea.
I just found a continuity error today. I've watched the Avengers movies so many
Just one.
times. Well, I've seen lots, but I've seen one that was
There's a major one, so I can probably guess.
wait, which one? I'll let you tell
In
me
event,
first.
are you talking about Endgame?
No, it was in Infinity War. What's the one in Endgame?
The one in Endgame, the popular one that most people know about is Ant-Man. He shrinks down and is like
Oh yeah,
going to
yeah,
like go somewhere, and then in the very next shot,
yeah,
he's big and fighting people.
yeah, yeah. I noticed that one as soon as I was in the theater. That one
Yeah,
bothered me because I was like, he was hanging on a wasp, and they're both flying in the car.
yeah,
And then like 2 seconds later, he's in the far background, huge, and he's like punching, or he's shoving a Leviathan through a portal,
yes, yes,
which is cool. But
yeah.
I was like, bro, what? You were
Because
just
they
like,
changed
how
up.
did
They
you?
had like the previs
Right.
shots already done, so they couldn't change that.
I understand how it happens, but I'm just
Yeah.
like I was like you gotta change that then. I was like you
I
gotta
was like,
watch it.
I was just thinking, like, I would love in Multiverse of Madness if it involved time. I mean, I would hate it because I hate, um, like um, the logic and continuity errors that this would involve. But it would be funny if it involved time travel and it at some point Ant-Man travels back in time to Endgame
Hmm.
and he's like, "Oh, I'm stuck here. I gotta like survive or whatever." And that would explain two Ant-Man, one small, one big, fighting an Endgame at the same time.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. And then yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fantastic.
Uh,
Um, there was just a small one. It's nothing big. It's just a hairstyle. But there was one that I came across me today, and I went and watched Infinity War to see it. When Peter is on the ship with Iron Man, and they're talking about how to save Doctor Strange below. And he's like, "Come on, this is a situation. You're not even supposed to be here. I told you to stay home." And they're fighting. Peter Parker's hair is all slicked back, and
mm.
the whole time they're talking, his hair is all slicked back, slicked back, slicked back. Then there's this quick little face where Tony Stark looks at him, then looks up, and then looks back at him, and then it cuts to him, and he has like his hair like flipped to the side, and it's like down, and it doesn't look greasy at all. And then the next scene is back to looking greasy, and someone in the comments wrote, "Damn, Tony Stark just fixed his hairstyle with one look." Like it was, and I thought it was so funny because he looked more like the Tony Stark, like
Yeah.
I don't know, fancy boy instead of the slick back hair. And I was like, I was like,
It's
God damn it.
probably a reshoot situation.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And I'm like, guys, you gotta look at the hair. What was your hair like in the last photo? But yeah, it was just, I thought it was funny. I was just, because I just noticed that. Just a small one.
Well, I don't really have too many theories on where the show's going. We know we got the
Yeah.
Super-Skrulls. Um, I yeah, I don't know. It's the MCU, so there could be like a big twist thing at the end.
Yeah.
Um, if this is gonna be more like like Winter Soldier kind of situation where we
Right.
see like some big world changing thing, but I don't know because Secret Invasion in the comics was a big deal and it affected a lot of stuff. Um,
Was the girl that the daughter, was she, is she a main character or not really?
no, there's a lot of so they're using a lot of names from the comics interchangeably for like other scrolls in the show.
Right.
But ultimately no, like the main scrolls in the comics aren't really a factor in the show yet. There's one like the main scroll is like this queen who like controls all the other scrolls. And like when you talk about Secret Invasion and adapting that story, they've done it in animation too and everything. This
Right.
character is at the center of it, and
Yeah.
she's nowhere to be found in the show so far. In fact, a lot of people thought that Amelia Clark would be playing this character. I can't remember the exact name, so that's why I'm not saying the character's name. But yeah, it seems like its own story for the MCU.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll change it then, because now that you say Queen, I was already thinking, what if like, because she's with the bad guys right now, but she's kind of like, she's on the line, she's kind of bordering. I wonder if whatever they do, the process they do to create a super scroll, what if she also does it or takes it by accident or something, and then they fight, whatever. However, it concludes. What if we end up then having a super scroll, which is her, whether she becomes like a queen or looked at as a queen or not, or then what if she
Could
becomes
be.
like another, like she could be another, I don't want to say Avenger, but another character that we see later, because like Amelia Clark's a big name.
She's a big
That
name. That's why I'm wondering. I'm wondering if they like Marvel will fight to keep her as like a
yeah,
big
or
face
like
and
you,
icon.
you make her a super scroll, and she'll probably come
The
back,
next
and
like in Avengers or something.
yeah, Avengers type thing, or even another, even if another show, maybe
Yeah,
not. I don't know, maybe not a show, but like if she's a part of a movie, I could
yeah,
see her coming back for that. It's hard to say no to Disney when they throw a role
yeah.
at you. So
But at the same time, there's also a lot of big name actors that are like, I'm just doing this one Marvel thing.
yeah,
Like I'm gonna have fun with it, whatever. I'm not gonna stick around though. Like this is not gonna be my entire acting career.
right.
So I feel like yeah, they could go. I think it's either one or the other. They're gonna go all in on what's her name?
Amelia Clark.
Amelia Clark. Um and say like yeah, she's the next like big name Marvel superhero, and then they're gonna start making comics about her and everything.
Yeah.
Or this is gonna be a one and done situation. They're gonna kill off her character at the end of it.
That's what I was gonna say too. I was
Yeah.
like, they could just easily just kill her off, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll play that for the show, and
Yeah.
it's another thing on my resume, and then I'm out, and then whatever." But if you want to make her a super scroll, and we see her a lot going forward, I
Yeah.
totally could see that happen. I don't know what the full dynamic is going to be, but I definitely, just from how the writing is, from we've seen from other like movies and stuff, I just feel like it's going to be, she's going to be she's being pulled between good and evil, and then she might have to like take a scroll serum to fight him and help save her dad or Nick Fury or something. So we'll see.
So one thing uh that I just thought of based on all this. So Monica is up at Saber now, presumably because of WandaVision. There was that one scroll that was like, "Oh yeah, Fury wants to see you," and she's going
Right.
up to Saber, and that's really the first like human friend that Gaia had when she came to Earth.
Right.
So I wonder if Nick Fury calls down Monica to like talk with Gaia or something,
I wonder, because we
or
saw
talk her down.
in uh Marvels that she was in space with Fury, and
Yeah.
then she gets teleported when all their powers get intertwined or whatever. I just think it'd be weird to bring her down, and then the next time we see her is in Marvels and she's back up there again.
Well,
So
Nick
I just,
Fury's back up there
I
again.
know, but that's weird to to do it with multiple characters. I don't
Yeah.
think we're gonna see her, but I don't know anything about that character at all, so I don't know any of her ties to
Yeah.
anything. So
Another crazy theory I had. I don't think this is gonna happen, but there is a possibility. that Nick Fury dies in the show,
Mm-hmm.
and then Talos takes over as Nick Fury, and that's actually Talos we see in the Marvels.
Hmm. So like just to like keep his image alive that he
Yeah,
doesn't die. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I think it could be possible. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I think it could be possible.
Yeah. I
Uh,
always like the different character variations, and I keep with the multiverse. I was wondering if we were gonna see a white Nick Fury, like just because there
well,
is like variations of him. So I thought I was like,
it's
who would
possible.
play
So
him?
we've seen. It's funny because I think if we didn't see a David Hasselhoff cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy, that could be possible because David
Yeah.
Hasselhoff played Nick Fury originally.
Oh yeah.
So and Nick Fury was white in the comics, and they introduced Ultimate Nick Fury, which was a different universe. Nick Fury's black in that universe. Nick Fury actually, the reason why he's in the MCU right now is because of those comics. He read those comics and he's like, this character looks like me. And eventually the comics get to the point where like, hey, who's gonna play you in the movie? And then the character's like, oh yeah, obviously Samuel L. Jackson. He's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, it is me. So I guess he like was really a big fan, and then he kept like talking to Marvel. He's like, if you guys are doing anything with Nick Fury, I want to play Nick Fury.
Yeah.
So
Oh, he crushes it.
yeah,
He's Nick Fury to me forever.
yeah.
So like he looks like all my when I played the games as kids or whatever, or whenever I saw it, like I I was like, it's Nick Fury. It was like destined to be him. So I just
Um,
remember I just remember the one looked really cool, and was it Ultimate Alliance? I think it's a white guy in Ultimate Alliance.
it is yeah. If you're talking about the original Ultimate Alliance, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Nick Fury, because that was based off the comic book,
Yeah.
like the original comic books. Although that game had a lot of Ultimate Comics inspiration, so I think there might be an alternate costume for Nick Fury in those games where they show the ultimate version of Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Because a lot of other characters had their like alternate costumes as a different option. Um, I think that concludes our Secret Invasion discussion. I don't know if you want to go into anything else. We do have like a lot of like different small stories that have built up over time of us being absent from doing podcasts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I would be interested in talking about. I don't know if you would, if you want to like pick something, or if you wanted to end it. It would be a shorter podcast, but we've
Yeah.
gone about an hour on this one episode. So
Yeah, I don't really have anything else. I'd like to but I don't have anything else with this episode, and I don't really have anything about news wise that I really need to talk about. Maybe we could add some extra stuff when we have Guardians, and then that could be a longer one.
yeah,
We do Guardians this, and then some extra stuff.
I will say the stuff that we didn't get to last time that can be like quick updates. Um,
Sure.
there's been a lot of movie delays, or
Yeah.
movies and I think TV show delays. I don't know if it's specifically for the writer's strike or not, but the notes I have here are Captain America, Thunderbolts, Blade, Deadpool, Fantastic Four, and both the Avengers movies release dates have changed. Although I think Deadpool, out of all of those, I think Deadpool's release date has moved up. So I think it's coming out sooner, and then everything else is coming out later.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Um, And then, oh yeah, actually, in regards to Samuel L. Jackson, he brought up in an interview that there was another director for the show. So there's
Yeah.
only one. I think there's only one director for the entire show, which is a little abnormal for Marvel shows because there's usually multiple directors, or even like Disney shows in general. Samuel Jackson brought up that he met with the other director. I think he's not sure what happened. I think in that interview, but
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, I met with this director, and then right after that he quit.
Hmm.
So I don't know what happened there.
Huh.
Yeah, so now it's just the one director doing all of Secret Invasion right now.
Yeah. And then now I need to know what happened.
Yeah, I know. But I think he said that he wasn't. You sure what happened? He's like, I don't know. I met with him, and then all of a sudden, there's just one director left. Um, yeah, and then he brought up in another interview a time. I just thought this was interesting. A time where he was working on the Avengers, like the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
I have a quote here actually. Somebody was asking him about spoilers and stuff, or leaks, the way that Marvel handles leaks.
Yeah.
So someone printed out a copy of my Avenger script, he says, that had my watermark on it and put it online for sale. So it was somebody that was working on the Avengers, like one of the crew.
Right.
He's like, I was shooting in Canada, and Marvel came to Canada. It had been printed in the production office. They found out who it was. The dude quit, left the country, and they set up a fake buy for the script. Dude didn't show up. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, I would never. Dude, if you got a good gig, you shouldn't ever risk it for like an extra little bit of pay. Like, because as soon as you're like, I don't know, that's wild. Just go and you're gonna go piss off Samuel L. Jackson. That's not the guy you want to piss off.
I will briefly mention the other like news updates here, and then we can wrap up, just so we can get them out of the way. um Spider-Man, in regards to first Spider-Man, there's been a tease for a live action Miles Morales and an animated Spider-Woman movie.
Okay.
So the I think it was Amy Pascal from Sony, I think, teased that's something that they're working on.
Yeah.
And then there's this, I don't know what this is, but I guess we need to see Across the Spider-Verse, or maybe we don't. I don't know. There's a new short film. The Wrap has an exclusive first look at it. There's a short film in the work within the Spider-Verse called The Spider Within,
Yeah.
and it's a horror themed Spider-Man thing.
That's cool.
It's like a short film. I don't know
Yeah.
why, because this is like an animated kids movie. So, but it's called The Spider Within.
Hmm.
So
I'm down for a horror themed
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's if it's not like in our universe, like I'll watch it. I'll watch it just to see the spin-off of it, like to see what it would like what it's like. But I don't want it like
Here.
to interfere with ours. I'll
There,
see. I'll see what's up. I'll see
yeah,
what's up.
there are some like frightening Spider-Man like alternate universe characters. There's
Yeah.
there's there's a character called Spider's Man, okay? Which is just it's a legion hive mind of spiders that form together to be like a regular human Spider-Man. So it's a Spider-Man made of spiders.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know if we'll see a movie version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly would, when it comes to Spider-Man stuff, I would really wish they just would redo Carnage and do it really freaking good. Like make it
Like
like
live action
Logan.
or animated?
No, like live action. Like redo it. Like make it
Because
like
because
like the
this
Logan version of.
because the movie was so bad.
Yeah, like it was
We
not. I was so happy to get it on screen, and then when I saw it, I was like, "This is
yeah.
like an hour and a half of garbage."
Yeah.
Felt like we
I
just jump skip from scene to scene. It was terrible, absolutely atrocious.
yeah, I think we've both said before we have no interest of ever rewatching that movie.
No, it was
Yeah.
awful.
I
I thought I thought it looked cool. And that was
yeah.
it. I thought Carnage looked cool. That was it.
It sucks too because it ties into No Way Home a little bit,
Yeah.
like kind of. And then there's gonna be Venom 3 coming out. Are you excited at all about Venom 3?
I don't know. Like not really after Carnage, which sucks.
Yeah.
Like if you can fix some stuff or tweak it a little. Didn't he just eat? Didn't he just eat him? Like he
Eat
just
who?
like Venom
Oh
Venom
yeah, he
ate
ate Carnage. Yeah, yeah.
he ate Carnage at the end, right? So like, is that gonna come out at all? Like, do you
No,
have?
the villain is, I think, What happened to Shriek? Did Shriek die too?
I don't remember who Shriek was.
Shriek was the woman who screamed. She shrieked. She was Carnage's girlfriend.
I don't remember.
Like
No,
the
I
other
don't.
main character or main villain in that show, in the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, I don't. I don't
So,
remember.
from what I remember, she screamed at that police officer. Do you remember the police officer?
I don't remember the
Who
police
like he's
officer.
like
No.
he was always on Eddie Brock's ass, and he's like, tell me more about Cletus Cassidy, and then he would not tell him anything.
No. Maybe I should
You
rewatch
blocked
that
out
as
the whole
well.
movie out of your
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
I
I don't
remember
remember.
so much of that movie, and I'm like, it's a shit movie. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a cop. So Shriek was Carnage's girlfriend. He busted out of prison for her, and she has the ability. I think she's like a mutant,
Uh,
but they didn't say she was a mutant in the movie because they can't, because it's Sony.
yeah.
So she's like she has the
Kind of.
ability to scream really loud. So she screams
Yeah.
really loud. Carnage doesn't like that. He doesn't like sound. But eventually this cop and Shriek were like fighting each other, and I think she like screamed at him, and then
Mhm.
by the end of the episode, I think his eyes glowed or something like that. So somehow that triggered his ability, and I think he's gonna be the villain in the next movie.
I sort of remember that
Yeah.
now.
I can't
Like
remember. He has a comic book character name, but I can't remember what it is because
all I
it's
mostly
not.
remember was Woody Harrelson in
Yeah,
that, and I was like, I didn't mind his character, but like, I
yeah.
don't know if it was great.
I think it's just gonna be another like symbiote situation where he's just fighting another one. Um,
See that, and then that gets old too. I'm like, that's
it
why you gotta do
does.
something. You gotta do
Like,
something with it
what
before
else
people
is
get.
Sony gonna do with Venom?
I
Because
don't.
they don't really have rights to anything else. So like,
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
I think they should do Venom Carnage. I'm no, sorry, not Venom Carnage. Venom Craven. I feel like Venom Craven kind of work
Yeah.
together. Craven's trying to hunt Venom. You
Yeah.
know?
No, I could see that if they did it right
Yeah.
and didn't make it PG. That was their problem. I think the most of it was making it PG made me so like I was like, ugh. I was like, I don't even want
Yeah.
to. I don't even think I went. I don't even remember if I went to theater to see that because it was so because I was like so
I
unhappy that
saw
it
it
was
in
PG.
theaters.
I think I did. I think I did too. I don't.
Yeah.
I can't recall because I wiped it from my memory.
When you think, what Marvel movies need to be rated R, I don't think Craven the Hunter. Craven the Hunter is going to be rated R though, but I do think Carnage, of all the characters, Carnage, you have to make it rated R, and they
Yeah, for
didn't.
sure. No, yeah, they dropped the ball on that. I don't know who's.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
Andy
That's
Serkis,
yeah.
his
It's
choice.
all Andy Circus.
Actually, I don't think it was his choice because I think it would have been Sony's choice because the first movie did so well as a PG-13 movie, like worldwide, um, that they wanted to keep that the same.
Like Gollum, Andy Circus.
Yeah,
I love Andy
he
Circus.
directed the second movie.
Oh, he directed that.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta stay an actor, dude. That was
I
terrible.
know. I think he's directed some other good stuff too. So that I was looking forward to it because I'm like, oh, he's directing it, and then the trailer started coming out, and I'm like, this movie looks awful. What's happening?
Yeah,
But he kept showing up in interviews like he looked so happy and proud about that movie. So I'm like, I'm happy for him. It sounded like he made the movie he wanted to make. So it seems like you know
yeah,
what? I'm happy he's happy. I did not like the movie. I feel like somebody else should have done it.
yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah,
I love Andy Circus too. I actually didn't know that. I usually don't really look into who directs stuff
yeah,
unless it's like something I really love. Then I'm like, oh, they're behind that. Hell yeah. I think the only one I actually follow is I only follow James Gunn. I don't think I
yeah.
follow any other director. The
James Gunn's
rest of others.
very vocal online, and like it's easy to keep up with what he's doing for sure.
Yeah.
One thing I will bring up this one thing because we did mention it earlier in the podcast. Infinity War had a 45-minute deleted scene about Thanos' attack on Xandar. So we
Dude,
could have seen that.
it, oh, it has that.
Yeah, so I don't think that exists anywhere for us to see. And I
Hmm.
imagine it's a lot of unfinished storyboarding or whatever.
Probably just it's just it's It's probably just a lot of Josh Brolin wearing a Thanos head and on like stilts, and him just destroying it. It's like it's still completely unfinished.
I imagine it's just like a storyboard thing because it would have been like something
Yeah.
we would have seen. There's a lot of Infinity War and Endgame stuff that exists online
Oh
and
yeah,
what didn't
yeah.
make it into a movie. But yeah, they said it was reported by Collider. I have an IGN article up for it. It says about a month before the movie came out, I got an email or something from Joe Russo. Who are they interviewing here? I don't even know. Um, Thanos creator Jim Starlin. So the creator of Thanos, they're interviewing here. So he got email or something from Joe Russo saying 45 minutes of Thanos that we had at the beginning of Infinity War, we had it cut. There was a
Mm.
whole sequence of him getting the first gem. So they're
Yeah,
called
so
gems in the comics, but it's the Power Stone.
right.
And they had to cut that out. They shot it, but they did shoot it. But they never wanted to spend the money on the effects, and they didn't want the movie to be as long as the second one, Endgame. So they didn't realize it was going to be quite the hit it was. Okay.
Uh, that I can see that because I could like as much as I want to see that scene, I kind of like it. Like it gets kind of like right into the action in at least a good way, where like we're already seeing like that's where Thor Ragnarok left off.
Yeah,
Was
and it
them
jumps
was
right
them
right into continuing from
Yeah.
where it left off.
So
Yeah.
I enjoyed it for that thing, but I remember when we saw Infinity War that when we had all the speculations about Endgame, I remember being like, man, I hope they like do the like because it was the whole movie was gonna be about fighting Thanos and like help or bringing everybody back, and then it was obviously gonna end with like Thanos' death. I really wanted to see. I remember telling like everybody when we went and saw Infinity War that I wanted to see like Thanos before he had the Power Stone. I wanted to see him fight in his armor with all his
Mm-hmm.
stuff because he takes off his helmet I think when he
Yeah,
first
right
goes to
at the beginning of
Thor.
the movie because
Yeah,
he
and I was
has
like,
the two stones. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, I want to see his armor. He doesn't need armor now because he's got the Power Stone. I was like, I wanted to see armor. I wanted to see Thanos doing his like
Yeah.
decimating a planet,
He had
just
it in
like
Endgame.
yeah,
Yeah.
and which I'm happy, but I remember telling everybody I was like, I would love to have seen like the intro of Endgame being like him decimating Xandar, and then it goes like then it like skips to like today or like whatever it was, right? Like now like 25 days or whatever, 3 days
Yeah.
after the events or whatever we're gonna end up skipping to.
What's your take on? I feel like there's a debate on this. What's your take on Thanos versus the Hulk? Did he
Uh,
beat him because he had the Power Stone, or did he beat him because he's Thanos?
I think I think he beat him because he's Thanos, but I still wanted that fight to go on a little longer. Like there was a part of me that really I don't know, because like the Hulk is like Titans are powerful, but Hulk is like a genetically engineered like mistake that I still think like even no matter how you're fighting, like I think it would have been close, but I think the Hulk should have end up winning, I guess, but like very close. So I think with the Power Stone, it just made him like I don't know, it gave him that advantage, but I still wanted more. Like when we got teased with the trailer in Infinity War, when you see the Hulk running in Wakanda and they're like on the fight,
Yeah.
so much of
There's a
me
there's
wanted.
a lawsuit for that, which I guess not a loss. There isn't a lawsuit for that. There was a bill passed, at least in the U.S. I think,
Yeah,
where anybody can have the ability to sue Marvel, for example, if they ever do that again, if they mislead people with a trailer.
that was. I mean, that wasn't. I guess it was kind of
Could you
misleading.
imagine the lawsuits on Morbius?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why was who would why like just because the trailer came out? Why because he didn't get to see Hulk fighting
Yeah,
in Wakanda?
yeah.
You
The
got to
amount of
see it
trailers I've
firsthand.
seen with deleted scenes in them is
Yeah,
ridiculous. Like that's just something that's like a staple in movie trailers. So I can't imagine why like it led to that people being so pissed off that what they saw in the trailers wasn't exactly in the movie.
yeah. I will say I really wanted to see that. I wanted that. Like I would have been so awesome after like I wanted to see Hulk fight
Yeah.
Obsidian Gaul in that beginning, but Hulk wouldn't come out.
Call Obsidian.
Yeah, what did I say? Reverse it. Gaul Obsidian. So I think it would have been sick if we saw like after Gull is like destroying his fucking like the Hulkbuster suit, that we just see the Hulk just blow the suit to pieces and just burst out of it, and then like beat the shit out of Gull, and then when Thanos is doing his easy killing everybody, they have another like fight, and like Hulk like is holding his hand, like in love, and they're just holding his hand and not letting him use his gauntlet, and he's just like fucking feeding him. Like that would have been sick if we just got like a little bit more, between the two. Because then after that, it was right to Smart Hulk or Professor Hulk, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was like that. It felt unfinished. I
So do
felt
you
so
are you in the
betrayed.
mind? There's so many people that are like, Hulk is ruined now in the MCU because he's Smart Hulk now, which
I If they were gonna leave it like that, I would have been fine. But the fact that they keep bringing him back and he has all these things that help him, I don't like it. There was a part of me that liked uh like the risk of like Hulk always like reverting back to being bad.
yeah,
Like I don't know, because he's like I combine the two, and I'm like no, because we found out in Ragnarok that like Hulk has his own personality. So I'm like his personality is nowhere to even be seen now. So I'm like I feel like you just took all of his muscles, and now he is just like in the trunk. He's not even in the back seat anymore. He's just in the
yeah.
trunk. Like he's gone. Like
Like
his personality, he
Hulk is
can't.
kind of out of the picture now. It's mostly Bruce in
Yeah,
Hulk's body.
yeah, so I don't like that. I mean, the Mark Ruffalo probably loves it because now he can just be on screen and he doesn't have to like sit behind CGI.
But he's
But
still
I
sitting
don't.
behind CGI, but I guess it's
Yeah,
more like his
yeah, it's true.
acting or whatever.
But we saw that he also just has his normal face too. Like She
Yeah,
Hulk, he had the thing where he could just be himself again. I don't like it. Like I like the development between the two of them always talking,
yeah.
and they could let each other out and whatever. I like that, but it gives me that Jekyll and Hyde feel, and now I feel like I just lost that. Now it just seems like a guy who can suit up whenever he wants, like Iron Man. Like it's just, I'm like, I don't know. Now you don't have that extra like, oh shit, Hulk's getting pissed. Like I feel like that's gone now. So
I Just to bring it back, I've always thought that Thanos beat Hulk because of the Power Stone. I was just under that assumption. I didn't realize other people thought that Thanos um beat him because he's Thanos.
yeah,
So I guess that's a debate now. Um the
I,
Hulk,
I I can agree with that. I
yeah.
can take or leave it. If the Russo brothers were like, no, he only beat him because of the Power Stone, I'd be like, cool. I don't really
Uh,
know who's stronger. I think it'd be a pretty close fight, but like Hulk pretty much loses to Thor, and Thor lost to Thanos, so I kind of
did
still
he
feel
lose
like
when did he lose the Thor?
in Ragnarok.
In
Yeah,
Ragnarok?
yeah, he was gonna
He
knock
didn't.
him out before he got electrocuted. They cheated. Every time they fight Hulk, like Hulk gets in some good hits, but I always feel
Yeah.
like Thor just has like the upper hand by like a smidge. But
Okay.
I just felt like he probably should have lost to
Yeah.
Thanos, or at least it should have been closer. I don't know.
There's a comic book called World War Hulk
Right?
that everybody wants to be made into a movie, which I feel like it's past that time.
Yeah.
Um, but it involves Hulk being Hulk, not Smart Hulk. Um, so it's just a Hulk that's enraged and out for vengeance against all the Avengers and everybody else in the world. Um, and I don't think they can make that movie anymore. But now the rumor is that Marvel is getting rights back, like full rights back for the Hulk, and that they
Yeah.
might want to make a Hulk movie. And then what movie are they gonna make? It's probably World War Hulk, but I really don't know how that's gonna work.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I still feel like we can have not everything has to go forward. What's it called?
You want Hulk to
Black
go back?
No, like how like Black Widow, like she was already dead,
Yeah.
and then we went back and had her like her own solo movie. Like I think we
Oh,
should
you want a bat like
like a prequel.
yeah,
Like I
prequel.
guess
Okay.
so. Like I could do that. Like I
Where
could be
would
like
that fit though? Because the Hulk,
he was on like Planet Hulk. I don't know. You could do it when he first arrived to like I don't know everything
the
about
Planet
Planet
Hulk
Hulk.
wouldn't work
No,
because the planet.
just
Yeah, it wouldn't be that story. It would be like it'd be some other like Hulk movie if they were to do a flashback.
Yeah, I just think it'd be cool if we had something like that. Like, I'd be cool to have like when Hulk first arrived on that city, and then because he was gone for a couple of years, like just watch him like just demoing this like city or whatever, like that planet until like they're like, "Yo, all right, we're gonna make you our like king or whatever," and you're
Yeah.
here, whatever. Like, I'd like to see the calming down phase of that. I don't know.
And that's interesting. I think is there anything else on this list you wanna
No,
talk about?
I don't have anything right now.
Okay.
Um, don't know when I can broadcast next. It'll probably be next Monday.
Yeah.
But next Monday we could probably do the stuff that happens from this Wednesday's
Yeah.
Secret Wars. So
We'll do that.
Secret Invasion.
So I'll be available. So we'll be. It sounds like we will be back next week. Do the
Yeah.
music here. Nope. Hold on. My bad. I guess my music button's not working. So let me try to trigger it here.
I'm music button.
All right, there we go. We will be back next week, hopefully, talking about episode 3 of Secret Invasion, and then whatever else comes up in the news. Maybe if we have more time for any of our other smaller stuff. Yeah, and I don't think we have anything else that we need to promote at this point. But let us know what your thoughts are on the episode, and maybe if you want us to talk about something specific in the MCU, maybe we'll look at that next week. Anyways, thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.